All right, then I think that we can move on to our third debate. And this is all about employer branding trends, because yes, we do have employer branding trends as well. As we all know, artificial intelligence has impacted every industry, and unsurprisingly, employer branding is no exception. According to various articles about employer branding trends for 2024, the use of AI in employer branding is going to be a big disruptor in this space. AI capabilities are influencing all the elements of employer branding, as it can help create compelling campaigns to attract candidates while also helping to enhance the experience. AI can support the company in communicating its employer brand messages more effectively by using available data to target its precise audience, hence yielding better results. In 2024, more companies will integrate AI into their employer branding processes and programs. This will ensure that the target audience gets more accurate and personalized feedback, instead of a one-size-fits-all solution. According to another article, the key thing this year will be to empower and hire staff able to use AI tools to the company's advantage. We will always need a human touch, especially in employer branding, as there is a need to have an authentic voice, but AI can do the legwork, wrote the author of the piece. And this brings me to our final statement of today. An effective employer brand strategy in 2024 must include AI. I am finding it a big shame that I cannot participate in this debate. All right.
For my part,
I think you're welcome. Yeah. I love to hear your thoughts, Lily.
Tom, I'll start with you for this one. I may share some thoughts later on, but Tom, I start with you. What do you vote on this one?
I agree, depending on the organization.
Okay.
We'll elaborate on that statement later on. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yasmina, what do you vote?
I disagree.
Oh, that's nice. Interesting. Okay.
Nearly, what should your vote be?
Well, I was just thinking, based on everything I heard from both of you in the previous two debates, I would probably say I disagree with this, but because it seems that there's still a lot that we need to get right before we hand everything over to AI. But Tom, let's go back to you.
Yeah, to bring a little bit of nuance to my statement, of course, AI can be used to do the legwork, like you said, to do some more targeted approaches to certain personas or to certain sweet spots. You can define a more fine-grained approach to a sweet spot, but depending on the company is what I suggested. And what do I mean with that? If your company is a tech player with a lot of AI, please do use AI in your employer brand. If you're a very risiko-averse company who doesn't have a lot of tech solutions in their way of working, please do not use AI. It comes back to my statement of managing expectations. The process or the context that you have in which way, whatever, with potential candidates should be comparable with what you experience when you arrive at that company as a worker. So that's why I'm saying depending on the company.
Nice. Okay, Yasmina, curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, well, Tom, I actually don't disagree with your nuancing of the statement. I think the reason why I disagree is just like you said, Nili, I think we have a long way to go before we try to introduce AI or anything else techie, for that matter, that can help us before we actually know how we can organize and orchestrate everything else we have going on. I think tech is an amazing thing. I think AI is an amazing thing. I think we should really try to adapt to the way that our world is evolving. But I also think that we should be very curious or cautious, actually, not curious, also curious, but very cautious when choosing what to help us. There are a lot of things that we need to check off before we introduce AI. And I think it can do a lot of good stuff on the legwork. It could crunch the data. It can do a lot of like screening methods. It could do a lot of the things that we spend a lot of time on. But I think, first of all, it's still very biased. So we need to be very aware if we use it and how we use it. We also need to be aware of the data that comes out. And also, I think if it's implemented in the right scenarios, if you have the cautious alerts about it, I think it could do a lot of good stuff. For example, we see a lot of, let's say, chatbots in the insurtech area. We see a lot of like, your bike is stolen and you go to the website for your insurance company, then you just fill out the whole report with a chatbot that helps you all the way. You're never in contact with a real person unless you need further help. I think this can do a lot of good things. If you implement, let's say, for instance, a chatbot on a career site where you actually prompt it to answer with the the right questions or the right answers to the questions that you are frequently asked. It could be it could give examples, it could lead your candidate to the right sites, it could provide a lot of information to them. I think it can do tremendous help, but you cannot expect AI to send out personified rejection letters or whatever, because I think when you are in contact with the candidates, it's crucial that you have the personal element. It's what makes your employer brand. So I think AI will definitely come into employer branding. It will play a role, but I think for the right companies, as Tom mentioned, it makes sense. And for everybody else, if you don't know how to work with it, maybe get help from the outside or hire someone who is an expert on the field to have success with it.
But first, do the other work and make a clear,
Absolutely.
good employer brand, authentic with your employee advocacy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you both for that. That was indeed the first thing that came to my mind. I mean, I know that AI it's such a vast topic, right? So, but one of the first things that I was thinking about was, for instance, ChatGPT and how we see it being used for so much content that's being written. And then I thought, wow, we've just been speaking about authenticity and how so many big brands sound and look and feel the same. What's that going to be like if we're going to start using tools like ChatGPT for that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, but we also talked about making it precise and making sure what does it mean. For example, I had a big audience group, IT professionals. I can make a very good, authentic employee storytelling about how it is to work at our IT department. But then they come with very specific question: which program language are you using? Because they want to know that. Maybe AI can sort that out for me, so my recruiters are not the ones having to handle with those questions. Yeah.
Of course, it would help a lot. I think we see a huge amount of applications coming from ChatGPT, and we also see a lot of content from the company side that is produced by ChatGPT. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. I think we just need to be critical. So if we want to keep the nerve and the essence of the company, if we want to keep the authenticity, I think we need to be critical, and we need to keep the human touch. I also think that it is so normalized in the Gen Z or in the whole generation Z. So I think for them, it's so normal, it's so natural to use it because they are so accustomed to using everything tech. It's like breathing for them. So I think if you're going that way, you need to, how do you say, you need to align with somebody who's actually breathing tech the same way as they are, because otherwise it will also be very fake. They will also call, oh, this is also made by ChatGPT, because they're so used to using it. So it kind of becomes like nothing. I think we have a couple of years or 5 or 10 to go before we can really hop on this wagon, unless something else comes up that can actually help us keep the authenticity. Maybe that's the next thing, Tom. That's what we create next.
I agree.
No, all right. That's a beautiful wrap up, I think, then. Beautiful wrap up of our 3 debates. Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you so much, Yasmina, for joining me and for sharing your experience.
Thank you for having me as well. It was a really good experience.
And thank you everybody for tuning in to today's episode. As always, don't forget to share the episode with your colleagues, with your friends, perhaps even with your family if you enjoyed it, and everybody who you think may benefit from the topics that we discussed in this episode. And then I see you very soon again for another episode of HR Debatable. Thank you and goodbye.